Vice President of the ACU, Albany United. Thank you. I'm not a star. But more than anything, I just want to, I want to affirm to everybody here tonight, we're here for a serious reason. And to be honest with you, in life, when you're on a journey of something serious, you never started by not praying. So I'm going to ask you to join with me with your head and your heart. And we just want to give a solemn prayer. Now, with the understanding, a lot of you are going to hear people say, well, I'll send my thoughts and prayers. But I'm going to be honest with you folks. All that is somebody thought about it, but they're praying somebody else going to do something about it. Mm-hmm. This is where we're at. We're going to have a solemn prayer, and we're going to begin to give you the vision of ACU. If you would, bow your heads. Gentlemen, please relieve yourselves. Let me come. Gracious Father, we come to you at this time. Some call you Jehovah, some call you Christ. Some call you the Almighty. Some of you call you Allah. But in this prayer, Father, we just call you Father. We come together united in a fight for our city and our lives, free of senseless violence. On the soil here in Albany, Georgia, Father, you've seen the bloodshed in the grass. You've seen the bloodshed and the bloodstains on the concrete of people who are leaving us far too soon. You've seen victims of crimes throughout this city. And Father, we come together tonight. We come together tonight in an effort to start this movement of an awakening of Albany and its people to challenge those that are elected to govern and guide on our behalf, to come back to the table of understanding who the people really are and the purpose that they serve. Father, we ask that you bless each and every individual that's here tonight. We ask you to bless each and every individual that could not make it. Father, we even pray for our elected officials. Moreover, Father, we pray for our citizens, black, white, red, or brown. We all bleed red. And we want to unite. We want to unite at this time, Father, showing your grace and your mercy and the power of your word that said when there are two or three that are gathered in my name. Bless this effort. Bless this thine people, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, are you drinking?
As I stated, my name is Anthony Branch. I'm the Vice President. And what I want to do tonight, I want to explain to you just in a nutshell what we're fighting for. We're fighting for your children to be able to walk out on the playground and have fun and maintain their innocence without worrying about a drive-by or somebody coming up accosting them. We're fighting for you to have the right to step out of your house without worrying about the gunshots that's going off, or the gun sounds that are going off around you. Or not worrying about the guys who are tearing down the road on dirt bikes with no helmets, with no concern for safety of themselves or their fellow man. If you look around, people, this is a united effort. Black, white, red, and brown. I don't care what color you are. When you go to work each day, when you go work hard for that, to pay that rent, to pay that light bill, to live in peace in your home, to provide for your family so that you can raise them up in a healthy and secure environment. Everybody desires that. There's no color barrier on what you work hard for. It's always been said, if you work hard for it and if you reach for the sky's the limit. You should have that right. You're citizens of the United States. And even in the Constitution, it talks about inalienable rights. Albany is under siege. Read a statistic just the other day. The crime rate here is pitiful. Sad part about it, it ain't just started. But it's at this point that people are getting fed up with it. If our elected officials can find time to vote themselves a raise, if they think that what we'll do, we'll rebrand. If you think, and I want you to excuse my language, but there's no way you can take a turd and polish it and then call it something else. You can take it and wrap it up in silver paper or wrap it up in brown paper. Guess what on the inside? It's still a turd. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the city throwing money after a sewer problem that yet to be fixed. We've got recidivism that's out of this world. We've got communities that are under siege. We've got some people that say, well, I don't say nothing, they ain't gonna bother me. I just keep my mouth closed, I don't say nothing. Guess what? Comes that time when you fix your door, you're gonna need somebody else. That's why we, ACU, coming together now to stand up as a united body, coming together to make a difference in what our motto says, Albany, the good life city. Let's make that true. Let's make that a reality. Can't do it by myself, but together we stand. We can truly make Albany the good life city. Not just for white, not just for black, not just for red, not just for brown, but for everyone. Everyone. Let your voice be heard. And when your voice heard, they'll hear it, and changes will be made. We're not sitting here spinning our wheels. This is not just a powwow session. This is a demanding session. We're demanding change in Albany. And with your help, with each and every individual in here, just your presence can make a difference. My goal, my vision, I would love to have 10,000 citizens standing and yelling at the top of their lungs. We're not asking anymore. Now it's time. We're demanding. We're demanding. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your presence. Thank you for being a citizen that gives up about your community. With you, we're strong. And we can move mountains. At this time, I want to introduce to you our president. Our president is going to come to you and he's going to give you the vision. He's going to show you just how serious we are For those of you who don't know and meeting him for the first time, you're meeting a president of action and a president of power. Give him your support. I introduce to you the president of ACU, Mr. Terrence Fowler.
How everybody doing? We are again appreciative for you coming out tonight. Very serious matter. We're gonna get right to it as soon as possible. This is a group, like Vice President Anthony said, this is a group about action. We are not interested in going back and forth with our elected officials about what's going on in this city. They already know. They have the statistics. They see them every week when they're in their commissioners meeting. They know exactly what's going on, but they're doing absolutely nothing about it. But that's because us as citizens aren't holding them to the fire. We're not putting pressure on them. We ain't putting our foots on their neck. And that's what we have to do in order to get some type of change in this city. The letter that you're seeing passed out right now, I'm gonna read it out loud here in a minute once everyone gets it. But this is ACU's first action plan. Again, we're not just gonna talk. We're gonna actually do some things and get some wheels rolling and some heads spinning right now. It's an aggressive tone because we have to be aggressive. I think we all understand we're at the point right now where we have to be aggressive in our approach to try to help this city. And so this letter is the first action piece that we're gonna have. We're sending this to all city officials, all elected officials, our police chief, our fire chief, our sheriff department. All elected officials will get this letter as of Monday. Right. Got a couple more people. And once we go over this letter, I want you all to understand we will allow you to speak too on your issues. What are your concerns that you want us to tackle in this, that, and the third? We have an action plan of issues that we've talked about here in the beginning, and we'll move on those. But those are not the only issues of Albany. We want to talk about and deal with citizens' issues, all citizen issues here in Albany. So let me read this letter to you, please, everybody. Dear Albany leadership and elected officials, as we step into the new year, we would like to introduce you to Albany Citizens United. We were formed by citizens in and around Albany, Dougherty County, to address issues and concerns that plague our city on a daily basis, and to take aggressive strides and literal actions to assist in the defibrillation of our city. We feel it's our responsibility to do whatever is necessary within our rights as citizens to help Albany get back to a city that we recognize and are proud to be a part of. Albany Citizens United will address the city of Albany's policies, procedures, practices, and personnel that we feel share a great amount of responsibility for the crime, lawlessness, and lack of integrity shown for years by our leadership. We understand that there is no one person, group, elected official that can move Albany in a more safe and progressive space alone. But from our perspectives and experience, we feel there is no true representation of citizens of Albany, Dougherty County in active leadership roles at all. This is a major concern for citizens of this city. Seemingly every day there are more and more violent crimes, assaults, robberies, etc., with no solution in sight. And the list of victims and their grieving families with no answers and closure increases daily also. We cannot and will not go on like this. We feel these issues are in direct connection to the lack of true leadership, growth, and prosperity potential affecting our city currently. What's more disheartening is the leadership and elected officials are watching this degradation of our city and doing absolutely nothing about it. This is not satisfactory in any shape, form, or fashion, and there must be action. With that being said, below are the demands of the citizens of Albany and Dougherty County in accordance with the Albany, Georgia City Charter, and they are as follows. We, the citizens of Albany, Dougherty County, demand a comprehensive and specific plan of action from District Attorney Greg Edwards in regards to the lack of transparency from your office, major case conviction rates, and the plan to resolve the over 200 plus felony cases awaiting adjudication here in Albany, Georgia. We, the citizens of Albany, Dougherty County, demand a comprehensive and specific action plan from Albany Police Chief Michael Persley In regards to the lack of staffing that has been an issue for years, an updated gang task force plan for the city, and an explanation to the galvanizing speed cameras on our streets, and the true purpose of the gun detection systems that are being installed as of January 2023. We, the citizens of Albany and Dougherty County, demand a comprehensive and specific plan of action from Dougherty County Sheriff Kevin Sproul in regards to your staff's ability to operate the Dougherty County Jail effectively and legally. An explanation of why all beds are not being utilized, and the likelihood of a youth wing opening at the Dougherty County Jail and/or a new youth detention center here in Albany, Georgia, Albany, Dougherty County. We would like to state that these demands are in all due respect, but let us be clear. We expect a response in writing within 10 business days, starting from Monday, January 9th, 2023. Our citizens in our city have suffered long enough. We demand immediate action, and these are not the demands of ACU. These are the demands of the people of Albany and Dougherty County. As you can see, we are very specific in our direction that we're going in. The police chief and the fire chief and our district attorney are not the only problems here in this town, but you're watching everything that happens in this city, and we're getting no action from our elected officials. They tell us lies, they pad stats, they aren't transparent with us about how and what is going on in our city. So we have to have them stand accountable for their positions. These positions, Greg Edwards' position, I want to be clear, we do expect responses, or moves will be made to have you recalled. We do want responses for our police chief and our fire chiefs, or moves will be made to have you removed. As citizens, this is not about I like Chief, I like Kevin, I like District Attorney Greg Edwards personally. But from a perspective of a citizen of Albany, and me, my wife, my 5 kids, your family, your wife, your husbands, and all your kids, we need better action from our leaders. They've refused time and time again. We're not interested in hearing the suggestions from our elected officials at this point in time. We're interested in seeing actions. We're past the time where we feel we need to listen to your suggestions. We voted for you all to do a specific thing, and that's take care of our city. You're not doing that. And if you don't continue to do that, if you continue to not take care of our city, then we'll take the steps to have you removed from your post, elected out of your post, recalled from your post, X, Y, and Z. Can't play with it anymore. It's time out. Me personally, I see no new direction at all in our leadership. Can somebody tell me anything that's been done with our commission this year since they've been elected? They got. We know that. And pensions. Does anybody know anything else?
Well, they raised our property taxes.
Yeah, okay. They raised our property tax.
Yeah, they're talking about rebranding.
Spending more money. This gun detection system, I can't remember the exact number. We'll send this out in our minutes when we email you about this meeting. They're spending a lot of money on the gun detection system. They're spending a lot of money on these speed cameras. They're spending a lot of money on technology to police our streets. I expect the police to police our streets.
But now they want poster surveillance.
Right. And we're spending all this money for no reason. It's getting us nowhere. It doesn't make our city any safer. What we need to do is get the morale in our police department's morale and our staffing up. We're still below staffing. Don't listen to everything.
They're gonna give them a raise too.
But the raise is 5%.
Captain on them.
They're gonna, again, we're at a position where our police chief and department are relying heavily on this technology. gun detection. My question is, personally, I understand they're gonna say technology is gonna win, but what is the gun detection gonna do for our community? It says the police will be there in 10 minutes after the shot. First of all, I don't know a criminal that's gonna wait for 10 minutes to get there. Second of all, I think that 10 minutes is based on the fact that you'll have a fully staffed police department. We don't have a fully staffed police department. So in our call time, response times at this point in time are about 15, 20 minutes or more on average. So we're wasting money. We're spinning our wheels. These speed cameras, I know who's gotten a ticket in the mail from these speed cameras?
More than one.
I don't know how many I've gotten at this point in time. I don't know, but it is galvanizing our community because that's $80 a pop. We're already in a poverty city.
And half of them ain't even in the schools it is in.
Fight it, you've got to.
No, you have to. You have to. So they're trying to put the policing in the hands of machines, technology. Another thing, what sheriff department do you all know that doesn't patrol? Albany, Dougherty County. We're short-staffed from the Albany Police Department. We're short-staffed. But the sheriff department is doing nothing. They're rolling around in their vehicles, their take-home vehicles, giving out hands-free tickets and delivering disposition warrants. That's it. Subpoena. That's it. That's all they're doing. But we have a shortage for patrol officers. That's an issue. One of the biggest issues, the county and the city. We've been talking about the county and city merging for years. These are issues that we could handle if we do merge, we consolidate. Now, I'm saying a lot of different issues that we have, because we have a lot. But we have a plan of addressing all of them from a citizen's perspective. And what we're standing on is the Albany Charter. Let me say this, and the rules and regulations of Albany, Georgia. Our elected officials are not going by the charter. They make up their own rules and do whatever they want to do. But we're gonna hold them to the charter. Our arguments will be based on the charter and the rules and the regulations and laws of this city. And so when we go at someone, again, it's not a personal thing at all, man. This is not personal. And this is not political. Let me say that. We have no political affiliation. We will never, this organization will never endorse a politician of any sort, because I feel, and the whole board feels, that impedes our integrity to be able to operate for the citizens for real. Now, will we listen to our potentially elected officials, and if they want to come in and speak to us as citizens on another level? Definitely, we welcome that. We welcome that. We would love to have some engagement. But understand, this ain't a friendly fight. There's nothing gonna be friendly about it, because nothing is friendly about our streets right now. And they're getting worse by the day. So I wanted to make sure anybody that has anything to say that they want to have input on, just raise your hand. Anything that you would like to respond to that we've already talked about. At this point, I don't want to take the floor too long. I really want to see what our citizens have to say. Tracy?
Yeah, well, first of all, good evening, everybody, and thank everybody for coming out too. I think this is a beautiful crowd and a beautiful start. And like you say, it's not about any party affiliation, any elected official. It's about demanding what the citizens want. And I do know for a fact that we are shortage of police officers, firefighters, and so on like that. And it's kind of giving a black eye to our community. So, like I said, this is the beginning by standing up, making your voices be heard, coming up with wonderful ideas. And, in the future, if any strong candidate, was to merge from this group or from out the community, support that candidate, give that candidate these ideas. Allow this candidate to go in with his eyes open, or he or she, to be able to do the job, because nobody's not really listening. And it's been going on for decades, frankly. And then a lot of candidates make false promises, then you don't see them no more. They don't fulfill their obligation. So I take my hat off to this organization for starting this, and it's a necessity that needs to happen. And once again, I thank everybody for coming out. And this is a great group that I'm looking at right now.
My name is Joseph Howard, and I just have one question. Do you have a plan to combat crime?
Do we have a plan? What we wanna do is, we've had some plans put together by a few people that we wanna try to submit to our elected officials, right? Because they're still in the place as of right now. So we're putting together our plan. We have a few steps already ready that we're gonna present to try to help with the crime. Well, it's not a one-stop shop. Like, the citizens are going to help assist with the crime. We can't stop it, we're just citizens. We will hold our officials that are in those positions responsible for handling this crime. This group will do more to try to help with our community involvement and what's going on as far as a lot of the crimes being committed by a younger generation and that sort of thing. But what we're doing is gonna assist in pushing them. We have boots on the ground also, but we're gonna help push them.
My interest is that I'm hoping that we can come together and ask our city commissioners to allow the tax breaks that major companies want to come in, so the citizens of Albany can have fair paying jobs. Idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of these youngsters, not all, but got so much energy because they idle. And they're gonna try to find something, or some way to survive. A lot of them think that, that Rome was built in a day. They see your success, they don't understand what process it took to get there. And because they don't understand processes, what they'll do is kill, steal, and do anything to get it. So years ago, when I was a youngster, you had more jobs. And we had more parents who demanded that we work for a fair day's wages. And in this city, you just don't have that anymore. A lot of jobs have wanted to come here, but couldn't get the tax breaks. And until we hold our city commissioners accountable and let them know that there's a demand for more jobs to come in. I think Taurus Gun Company wanted to come in years ago, couldn't get what they needed, went to Bainbridge.
Yep.
So this is the kind of conversation we gotta have. And so we can get people out working, give them some job opportunities. But I'm here because I believe in what you're doing. And I wanna be a part of that, to say this is what we wanting. We want some jobs coming in here. We look at our city, and even businesses, it's hard for them to survive. The economy is not stable, and it's gonna take money. It's gonna take people making money to stabilize our economy, but just count me in.
Yes, sir, thank you.
How you doing? My name is Travis Luke. I was invited here by the president. I always say this to the whole room. I'm the cheat sheet of gang prevention and crime prevention. I am crime, I am gang. I walked away from it years back. I've been in jail all my life, from 9 years old all the way up to now. I just recently released from federal prison. Since I've been home, I met with the sheriff office, the police office, everybody you can think of. I met with, offer my services to try to combat gang violence, try to combat crime. I have the influence to go in the streets on any side of town to stop whatever that's going on. But I need what he just said, I need resources. Because I can go tell them to stop. Money only doesn't matter to people that doesn't have money. We can create all the basketball program, baseball, kickball, it's not gonna help. Until we put some things in place for some these people in poverty to make money, that's the only thing that's gonna help. I didn't go to jail or prison, and I was the first blood in the state of Albany, one of the highest ranking bloods in the eastern part of the United States. I didn't go to prison for violence. I went to prison for selling drugs to make money for my family. Not saying that was a good reason because I was smart enough to do anything else I wanted to do, but it was an option that was there because it wasn't jobs. So anybody here that have anything going on, he has my information, anything I can do, even if it's one kid. If I'm able, if I'm in position, I'll come talk to him. Re-entry, anybody that you know that's struggling with, because I'm going through the struggle now. I was just about to get a job with Open Arms to do community outreach, but turned down because I'm a convicted felon. Who better than me? But I understand. I have to take it to the chin. You know, I understand. But with re-entry effort, with people that trying not to commit crime and go back to jail, because like I said earlier, recidivism is high everywhere, but it's extremely high here because it's no jobs. I don't mind work. I'm NCCR certified, OSHA 10, OSHA 30 certified, but I can't get a job. If I didn't have a strong support system, I wouldn't be standing right here. Y'all will be chasing me around. And that's just me being honest, because it's hard. So anything that I could do, I'm working on putting a nonprofit together. I'm raising some money to put a nonprofit together called Choice that deals with everything you could think of for financial literacy and on up. And like I told him when we talked yesterday, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. And everybody can believe what they want to believe, but I'm telling you now, you cannot lock this problem up. I could have went to federal prison and brought more drugs back to Albany and never been here. Because you know why? I was in there with people from Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, and these was the guys that I dealt with because I was a shot caller for the Bloods on the state on the compound. I could have brought way more drugs back here than never been here. I just chose the latter. So when we go to jail, we only gonna go if we choose to, and become bigger, better criminals. Gangs only spread because of prison. Gangs don't spread because of the streets. Every gang was created in prison. So we can't lock the problem up. We got to bring resources here to bring opportunities to give people opportunity to do something else. Thank you.
Can I ask a brother right there a question?
Trey.
Yes, sir.
What do you think the possibility of getting the gang leaders together for a sit-down meeting?
They waiting on me right now.
That's all.
I can go on my messenger right now. I don't even go to them. They come to me because he could tell you this and think one level. Before I went to federal prison, before all these book bag giveaways and bike giveaways, I was doing that way before anybody was doing it. And I wasn't never big on crime. Not saying I ain't getting into my scuffles and do what I did, but for the most part, all I did was make money. And everybody around me graduated school. Everybody, if you came in my neighborhood, everybody was in school. So other gang leaders always had their mutual respect for me. Like I didn't really have a lot of animosity within the streets. So I can get anybody to come to the table. I can fill the room up with them right now.
I would like to talk to you on offline here. I got a plan that I think we can put together. I want to get a come together because like people are saying, what are you gonna do about crime? You can go after the city officials and so forth. But if we can sit down with the brothers and we can come to a mutual understanding with one another, I need to stop the bleeding from that end now to the best of our ability. And they can be a great resource in this battle. And I need them.
And see what I come to play, and I know every game like the back of my hand. So when I talk to them about their rules and regulations, constitution, prayers, and everything they're supposed to follow, they doing it wrong anyway. The rules of being in the game is based off Leviticus and the Bible. It's just like anything else. Once you get all these different leaders and get people in, it get misconstrued. So this is what I tell them: if you're gonna be in the game, abide by your rules. It's never supposed to be about crime at all. So it's not really, it's not a whole lot to it, but it's still back what we talking about. We could talk the heads off. We don't have.
You
gotta have something. That's it. And see, that's why they believe in me, because I always looked out for families, brought stuff from did Thanksgiving. I always done this. I just done it in the shadows. I always let those city commissioners come out and shake the hand because that was the only way I was gonna get permit. Willie Ross was my mentor. That was the only way I was gonna get on. But whatever we can do, I'm telling you, like for the most part, I can make it happen.
Before we talk. Thank you. Good question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Greetings. My name is Alicia Cutting. I'm a transplant, a recent transplant to Albany, Georgia. I come from Western Massachusetts, not Boston. And I'm trying to, I have to say that because honestly, Boston to Springfield is about the distance of Albany to Columbus. You know, it's like, we're not Atlanta here in Albany, I'm not Boston and Springfield, okay? None of my Boston, okay? I'm not parking the car. But I say all that to say that my perspective is sometimes a little bit different than someone who may have been born and raised here in Albany. I come from the Northeast. To some people, that's a problem. Some people, that kind of skews the imaging, but not for me. When I came here, people would ask me, why did you come to Albany? Like as if there's some disdain, okay? So I'm internalizing this. I will say quickly, my background, I'm not gonna run my resume here, but my background is very, very diverse. From engineering to education to marketing, social services, a lot of different areas, and the performing arts. But I also, among the other hats that I wear, I drive Lyft here in the city of Albany. Daily. Thousands of rides already. I interact with all of your citizens here in Albany. I hear all the stories. I drive from Northwest, all around the region. I am in the hood. I am picking up the Albany residents that are struggling to pay their rent because in some zip codes, the rent to income ratio is sickeningly nauseating. I'm dealing with people who are on the verge of being evicted, their rent is going up, and their houses are not being taken care of. I'm dealing with young people who are struggling. I'm dealing with elders that are struggling. And when I talk and we're having conversation in my car, they're like, why did you come to Albany? More so than that, now they're asking me, why are you staying in Albany? Why are you looking for homes and to purchase properties here in Albany? Here's my answer, and I'm gonna run it down as quickly as I can. Albany has media. I'm in media, has television and radio stations. Albany has a civic center, that's huge. Albany has parks and recreational departments. I'm not saying any of this is properly utilized. I'm saying the infrastructure is here. You have both Y and Boys and Girls Club, and you have other nonprofit organizations. You have we have a hospital system. I'm not vouching for it, yay or nay. I'm saying the infrastructure is there, we'll talk. Albany has a fairgrounds. Albany has a riverfront, that's huge. Not necessarily properly utilized, but it has the infrastructure in place. Albany has an airport. My goal would, because I travel all the time, flying in and out, would be that it'd be more of a regional airport. Not just serving, well, I'm going to Atlanta every other week, but not just serving Atlanta, but your Florida, your Montgomery's, Alabama, that should become more regional. Albany has a lot of different elements in place, including transportation. I'm not vouching for it, but I'm just saying the setup and the structure is there. What my goal and my interest in being here is to say, listen, I'm encouraging you that if you don't necessarily see it because what you're used to, you might not always fully appreciate it as an outsider looking in, as a new face coming in. The structure is there. It has to be built upon. So I'm here to encourage. I'm here to bring whatever assets I have to the table, but I believe in Albany enough to stay here and to make it a home and to bring whatever I can to the table, because not just talking from a historical standpoint, because the history and the legacy is here, but it is very disheartening for me as I look at the statistics and the data tables and the health indicators, and I'm looking at the crime rate, and I'm having people in my ear like, are you kidding me? Why are you gonna stay here? Because I believe in the city of Albany. Okay, and I went to an HBCU that's called Tuskegee, just saying. So I have love for HBCUs, and even as I interact with the campus and the students, they're saying the same things. It's like, we can't stay here. Yeah. So it is not sustainable. And I'm 51, and as a almost kind of retirement, kind of almost verge of the age, I got my AAP card. But I'm hearing, oh, Albany's, look, here's what you young people are saying, and I'm gonna sit down on this one. Albany, and I'm almost a direct quote, Albany is a great place to live if you're retired. That's what they say. That's what they say. So yes, can we please encourage those businesses, whatever it takes, to get here, because I can guarantee you, you don't have to leave, you can bloom where you're planted. And I'm just here and I'm just trying to encourage you that outsider looking in, it can be done here. I believe in Albany and I'm proud to be here.
Hey, we're gonna get to a couple of your hands in 1 second. I did want to directly address Rev's statement about bringing jobs here. Another one of our issues here in this city is our education system.
Yeah.
Jobs do not want to come to a city where they can't educate and train the populace. Our education system here is ridiculous. And they keep perpetuating the same things over and over and over again. I want to know something. We have an 86.7% graduation rate, but we have a 33% literacy rate.
Okay.
Right. And I'm gonna get to you in a minute. Our high schools, we only have 11, 12, no more than 14% literacy rate at all our high schools. These are the people, the children that we're trying to push into our communities to, grow our community, evolve our community. They're not educated enough because our system just pushes them along through the system. You don't have to do your work now. You don't have to pass anything. You don't have to even show up to school. We should bring some type of sense of truancy back here in the city of Albany, but they don't even have to show up to school. So we can't educate the populace. That's why it's hard for the jobs to come. Two things that I have a conversang with Brother Adam Yang about and Brother Tom about all the time is it's hard for companies to commit to high violent crime area. That's number one. And again, number two, the place where they can't educate the people that are in the area. We have a terrible system. Again, I'm not trying to go at anybody personally, but this system in our county is broken. And that is a problem that we have to try to fix also in order to bring new jobs and opportunity to this area. We have to get our literacy rate up. We have to get our kids with a curriculum that prepares them for life after school. Right now, we are schooling our kids, and we're cool with schooling our kids. We're not educating our children. Schooling and education is different. We're not educating our children. They're not being educated, so we do have to take that into consideration. I'm gonna get everybody in order. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Akui Daniels. I too am a transplant. I come from South Florida, so I'm fairly new here. And I actually come as an employer. We absorbed a company up here called MPD Digital, right downtown off of Flint Avenue. And instead of bringing that company to Florida, the owners decided to try to keep the jobs here in the city. And they asked me to come up. It was very different, as I'm from South Florida, West Palm area near the beach, so this was a lot different. But I do have a history here. My mom and mom were born here, so I was happy to come. And I think a little bit of what everyone said has been true, including education. During the hiring process, it proved very challenging for me to hire in the city. And no matter how, not only just education, people just not showing up. It's one of those things to be able to commit to something that you say that you're going to do, and that was a big thing for me as an employer. I have 15 to 20 interviews a day, including all my tasks as a general manager, and I have 4 people show up. And really trying to make sure that we keep the jobs for people in here. It was very important for us to do that. And I do think if you guys do have a plan together for tax breaks, I think that would be another beneficial thing. I would like to see it and be involved as well, because again, being from South Florida, I have people to come up and visit me. And when they come up, we drive around and they say, oh, I can do this here, I can do this here, I can do this here. Friends from California, I have friends in Tallahassee that didn't know this place was here. And they come up and they're like, well, I can see this here, but man, I don't know if I want to pay those taxes as an employer. So there are opportunities for more employers to come and make this place a home in spite and despite of the crime. And there's people who are willing to train. I sit 12 hours a day, sometimes training employees that I've had for about a year now. So I do understand that education is a huge thing, but the people are still smart here and they're resourceful, and and we offer, and people in jobs will offer opportunities. Almost everyone I hire, ex-addicts, prostitutes, jail, whatever it is. For me, it doesn't matter. If you can do the job, I want you. And I think a lot of my other peers, I'm 35, I have a lot of other peers who are very ambitious in trying to get things going, including myself, wanting to do 2 to 3 or 4 more businesses, but just not really sure if I want to house it here because of, financial reasons. I'll hire, I'll train, I'll do all the necessary things, but the support kind of needs to come from the city, because I'm not going to bring any more people or money here if the city's not going to support that. I drove around countless of times about downtown trying to find who owns this building, reaching out. I walked into hospitals. I need to talk to you right now because I want to get something going. But if they want to meet us halfway, then I'll say, okay, well, I'll just do it in Tallahassee. Okay, I'll go back and I'll just do it back in Boca, where I know for a fact in Boca Raton they are going to give me the money that, or they're going to give me that break or the resources or just their time. And so I think if more people in the community kind of reach for people's time and get in front of some people, I think there are a lot of changes that can be made. So if you got any plans, I'm always here.
Thank you. Let me say one thing. I'm gonna get Chad, him, her, and then I'll come to you. Okay. Let me say one thing about our agenda and our action plans. We don't have all the answers. We're not even gonna say we do. What we need to do is come together as citizens. If you have input in tax breaks and tax, anything tax-wise, let's come together and get it. We have a research department that's researching every issue that we have and the best way to approach it. But this is from the citizens. We don't want to speak just for everybody. If you have input, we want your input. We need your input. This is a citizens-based organization. So we definitely welcome all information. Chad?
Yeah, just real quick. If you guys have anybody run something like this, is if you have grants behind you and it takes a professional grant writer, I've failed at many before. I was told, hey, listen, you get a grant writer. I've had teachers, who have worked with, and if that's what you provide is, hey, we're providing these grants and a grant writer to help you get the funding you need for, you're then proactive, right? You are then causing a solution, not pointing out a problem. It's a lot harder to ignore somebody who's solving the problems that you've ignored than it is to overhear somebody shouting over everybody else saying you're ignoring these problems. So I don't know if you guys are exploring that avenue, but that is an avenue that I've seen open up war chests for people to go, let's fix this. What does this take? This takes money to upgrade, but the school needs it. We don't have to ask. We're gonna do this for the community to have the people have hope, because people ask me when I moved here, why did I move here? You know why? They don't have hope for the future of this place. That's the reason. So if you show them there is hope, if you show them there is tax breaks for job growth, this is one of the largest places outside of California for movie shooting and everything else. Are you kidding me? With all of the abandoned buildings and all of the lots around here, do you imagine bringing that industry here and the jobs it would bring in? All of those things are possible, but it starts with hope and it starts with a little bit of direction. A lot of that comes from money, and a lot of that money comes from grants to begin with.
Thank you. I'm keeping it short and sweet. When I was invited, I told her this morning that this is going on around the city. I represent a coalition of particularly male organizations, and we're talking about the same thing, how we need to be more aggressive. I'm more than happy to speak with you all about how we can coexist and meet the mandates that are needed. These two gentlemen right here, as far as economics, I heard this gentleman speak before. You need gentlemen like this to solve the problem. Police aren't gonna do it. A teacher's not gonna do it. You need them. So whatever we do, let's get behind this young man right here, if we can, in whatever capacity, to allow him to do what he needs to do to help solve some of the problems in the communities. And lastly, I just want to say that I met with some clergy organizations. I spoke with both of them this morning as well. Everybody's on the same page, even though they're not in this room. Right. We're all on the same accord. Now we just have to see how we can work collectively together. And I'm glad to see what you all are doing, and I look forward to participating in some capacity.
Thank you. And this is big. I definitely want to stress this. We are not an exclusive organization. We want to work with all organizations that are here in the city. This is not, we have the answer. Everybody, not that he was saying that at all, but but everybody has some input. Everybody has different organizations that we can pull together. We may be, good on this subject. That organization may be better on this subject, and we just need to fuse together because we're all citizens of this. This is a citizens action situation in all of Albany. So everybody is welcome. We definitely welcome all assistance from all groups, man. It's welcome. Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry, I came a little late. My name's Jen Maloney. I don't know if you saw me on some pages. I'm a little obnoxious, but don't take it personally. I've lived here about 2001, 3 months pre 9/11. Came down here as a photographer to work for the Herald. That was a wide opening experience because it got me to see how the media works and what happens when the people that got the money control the news. When I first moved here, I was like some of you guys, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, hope, and this and that. I've been here since 2001. I don't know if you guys are. 2001. The same things have happened over and over again. A group of people get excited that really care, and then we come together in various forms and nothing happens. Nothing. The new people, the newbies that have been here, and that have been transplants, we get resistance everywhere. It's like you have to be in some kind of club.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Who's your daddy? I don't know your cousin. And what? Who? Okay, they don't care about what your education is. I'm not giving my resume. I've been in everything. I've been 12 years social services in this community, starting in 2000. I left the newspaper because I was like, I'm done. I worked in homeless shelters in New York City. I ran a homeless shelter. I worked in addictions. I ran that program in New York City. I have so much plethora of knowledge, and every single social services agency I come to work here for or try to volunteer for have met me with resistance. Okay, there's so many people out here like me. Mr. Cap's here. Who's that? There's just people that we all know each other from social media, and we see it, and then there's this we can't. I cannot beat myself up. I literally walked out of my foster care job after, okay, something that I just hold really, really deep to my heart. And I've seen the cycles of 3 generations because somehow people having children before they have their education or their lives together. And I get this place is kind of hopeless. But when everybody is apathetic, and then you have people coming over year after year, rah, rah, rah. And then it's like there's such a disconnect between the organizations, almost as if people are throwing wrenches and stuff on purpose. Like, it's like I just feel there's just this cloud of people that are pulling strings in this community and want to keep people enabled, want to keep them impoverished. And then there's a whole bunch of people that try to change that, and then it's like, you can't lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It is so frustrating to give your life to the people that are teachers here, in healthcare, in addiction, in the schools, in DFACs, the police officers, like everywhere. Is that Mr. Garrett?
Yep.
Okay, I went and brought a young man to you from my foster care agency, trying to give him a little tutorial and tried to get you to link up, and then I left there. But to bring him in to teach a group of young adults how to buy a car, how to work on a car, all this stuff. And there's different reasons why I get resistance. We're not going to get into that. But I think more if it's a New York attitude, Yankee resistance. Like, what decade are we living in here? Okay, like we have good ideas, we have smart people. You want to keep the same people's granddaddies and uncles and that have been doing things, and the religious people. Guys, we have so many churches here. Why do we have so much poverty? Band-aids are just getting put on things. Band-aids. We want to help. We feel bad for these people, and we help them. We have this toy drive and this, that, and the same people come back every year, every 6 months. What are you doing? And then there's people that are in there on the ground, and then we get burnt out, and we leave. Social workers, 3 years life cycle. Ask yourself why. And you want to pay us? You want to pay us? I won't even get into that. We might as well. I left that job, walked out, tears, and went to Uber because I made more money, and I got a graduate degree. Okay? And now I wound up in property inspection, and I'm into appraisals now. So, because I don't want to deal with people and their problems that get disappointed. You do so much. You want more for people than they want for themselves, and they don't see it. And you hype them up with this hope, and then they get let down time and time again. And then you wonder why people just get complacent and apathetic. we need to hear the right people for real. If we say we're gonna do this, stick together and do it. We have social media now. There's a big stronghold for everywhere, not like disconnects back, 10 years ago. You couldn't do this stuff. We could do so much, but we need to be committed to it. We need to say what we're gonna do. We can't just say this stuff on social media and just wait for other people to do it. And I know there's people here that do it in this room. There's people that do it and don't do it for any kind of accolades like me, okay? Like, that's what it is. This is my community. I could have been left. I live out in the country, so it's a little bit different, right? But I work property, I got stuck here. I hate that. I just came doing an appraisal at somebody's house on Rawson Circle. He's been here 6 months, he's ready to leave his house. He said, I don't care what the loss I took, I put $30,000 into it. I'm tired of gunshots every night, and I got fooled. I came here and I got fooled. And a lot of us northern people or people from outside will say the same thing. It takes a couple of years to get used to it. Resistant to change. Let the people that want to do things stop mistrusting. Trust some people to do the right thing and vote and support other people that just because you don't know who they are, that you already don't trust them, because that's why they're not running for your government. Thank you. I hope this really sticks together.
Rantez, and then go ahead, Randy.
My name is Mateus Anderson, and all of y'all make really good points, but there's one other key issue that is a factor. When it comes to society, family is the single most important building block of our society. If we all don't come together and make sure that we have strong family units, all this is just going to collapse. We can have as many organizations as we want. We can have the best economic plan in the world. But if our young brothers and sisters, little kids are growing up without their fathers, without their mothers, because, they're just getting together, having kids, and out of there without a family structure, it's all going to collapse. We're going to have the same situation over and over again. I've been living here all my life. I've been in Albany, and I see it constantly. My family used to take in foster kids all the time. Same situation. It's just constant cycle, and it's up to us as a community, not just all right, we got this community organization, all right, come together, a little group, and let them say our word. No, we have to go out to each other, go to our neighbors, know our neighbors, love our neighbors, know these people, get together with these people and try to convince them, hey, we need to work together to make sure we create a new culture, a stronger culture of building family bonds. Because in the end, if we don't have that family structure, it's all going to collapse.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Friedel. I'm glad that I was invited to come. I work with foster children, mostly males. I also have a business here that I've opened and starting in July, working with families. And because I'm also an out-of-towner that came in. This is my 5th year living in Albany. And a lot of things that I've listened to everyone say, I've experienced. And you get frustrated because there is an old school way of living here in the city. That's one of the things that attracted me. I like it. That's why I'm still here. However, we gotta have somebody that's progressive somewhere. But unfortunately, the people that are leadership are staples in Albany. And they want to do the Albany constituents the way they want it done. So outsiders like me come in, or us that come in with different ideas, it's hard to get through. And I don't know what it takes to break that. I know someone gave me some advice. They say, find the gatekeepers in the community and let the great gatekeepers be the ones that open the door for you. And I found that to be a fact. It works. But you have to know who those gatekeepers are and who are the people that have the voices. And they have to like what you're bringing. So that was in my 5 years, that was the best advice someone has given me. So today I find myself looking for those gatekeepers. The second thing I want to say is that I think where our focus isn't on the right thing. I think we need to focus on people who are coming into the city. We have a lot of young people or middle-aged people that come back to Albany to take care of their families, and we stay here. And those of us that come from the big city, like I come from the Los Angeles area, come here and they love it because there's no traffic, there's less stress, there is the joy of riding with my windows down. I don't see what everybody else sees. People told me about crime living in this area. I hear about it, but I have not experienced it. So all I'm saying is that maybe our focus is on the wrong things. I know the Bible that I read says, think on these things that are good and pure and of good report. And oftentimes we so focus on the bad, we're missing the good. And I think we need to refocus. I think we have to find the good things in Albany and exalt those good things. I think we have to look for the people that are coming to this city who have fresh ideas and don't run them away. Because I felt like, God, why am I here? It's dead, like I don't get it.
We have to acknowledge that bad, right?
Right.
We can't get away. That's what I say with you. God bless you.
Mr. Rob, I'm sorry.
Sorry for you.
I kind of want to be really quick with this. Just to introduce myself, my name is Alicia Phillips. I am a teacher at the alternative school. So if anybody is familiar with the alternative schools, we take those students who have problem behaviors that are just too egregious for the regular public schools. All right, so I work with high school students. I teach social studies, which includes economics, personal finance, which are some of the skills that a lot of our students don't have a lot of and don't have the experience. Their parents, they're not into it. They're living paycheck to paycheck, just like a lot of teachers too. Yes. So it hits us too, and a lot of these students are dealing with those problems with poverty, and they're bringing it to the school. They can't concentrate because they're not eating. When they get to school, the food is nasty, right? A lot of them don't have clean clothes, so when they get to school, they get constantly picked on. Now they want to fight, and now they end up where I'm at. And so what we do is we deal with those problem behaviors. We hope to, decrease the recidivism rates with our students that are on house arrest, that are, they've been to tribunals. They have charges on them. They're waiting to get locked up basically while they're learning in school. And once they get there, it's like, hey, I didn't learn this at my regular school. I didn't get this attention at my regular. They're getting one-on-one attention from us. They have teachers that look like them, that come from the same background as them, so we can relate to them. We have not had one student return since my 4 years. This is my 4th year being there. We have not had one student return. They come back by choice. We've had students go back to their regular schools just to get in trouble on purpose to get back over there with us. So the students want to learn. They want to do good. They want to stay out of the streets. They don't want to do the crimes. A lot of them come from families who are in gangs. They are gang leaders. They don't have any other choice but to get in. They're conflicted because they're smart. When they get over there, we show them just how brilliant they really are. They can't see it because when they go home, all of that just goes away, and now they gotta concentrate and try to stay out of the games, try to stay out of trouble. They don't want to go to jail. That's all they know. We have students who have been to jail, come back, and they're bragging about how great it is in there. We don't have any incentives for these children, these youth, to stay off of the streets, to stay out of trouble. That gang life it looks appeasing to them because guess what, those gang members are taking care of them a lot of times.
Yeah.
They're the ones that feeding them, because they're not eating at home. Those are the people that are nurturing them, so they're constantly running back to them for help, and they're constantly getting back in trouble. It's an ongoing cycle. It's a vicious cycle. But I said all that to say this. A very smart, important person said, if there's no hope for the youth, there's no hope for the future. We've got to put our time and our efforts in these youth. Think about it. You guys are going to be gone. Who's going to be running this city? These same students commit crimes. We've got to put the time and the effort, guys, and we need, a lot of these students don't have that positive male role model attention. They don't have it. We need our men in our city who are stand-up men, our family men, our Christian men. We need them to get involved with these students. I don't care if they are not related to you. We've got to come up with some type of organization, group of men who are not afraid to go into these communities, knock on doors, say, hey, we're trying to reach out to these young men and mentor to them. That's a lot of times, that's really all they need. We have a male teacher there at my school now. That's the only reason why some come back. That's the only male attention that they get. Not only that, guys, I don't know if anybody else has been appointed to it. Probably it's too early for me to even spread the news, but I'm on the Community Development Council. We have a meeting coming up, and what I'm interested in doing is looking at how to get these grants for these grassroots organizations to work with our youth. That's what I'm focused on. The student body of this population in Dougherty County, we need to work with organizations that will help give them life skills, give them technical skills, get them interested in the industries that we're trying to bring into the city. You got the industries here, you have these entrepreneurs already here, you are having trouble filling these positions with people who are qualified, we're giving them the skills. They are getting those skills. They don't have the incentive to want to work, to want to earn money, to gain generational wealth, to get out of poverty, because honestly, guys, we have a culture problem. I'm sorry to say, we really have a culture problem, and that's what's fueling all this crime. We can't get reliable people to work, but the population the black population in Albany is what, 65%? More than that, almost 80%. Almost 80%. That's true. So who's gonna fill the jobs? When 50% of that youth population is going to jail, they're not graduating, they're not going to the colleges because they know they're gonna be stuck here. They're gonna just repeat the same thing that their uncles are doing, that their older cousins are doing. We gotta get them employed. We've gotta get them some skills. So I'm hoping to get in contact with some of you, professionals, that way we can work with people who can get those grants and get these organizations off the ground. So if you have cards, please leave them on the table. I will gather them. If you have time after the meeting, please contact me.
Good. All right, so, she definitely hit it. Anybody else have anything else to say?
Can I get one thing, Mr. President? Can we all just look at something real quick? I want you to really focus on what just happened here. The gentleman there, the gentleman right there with the transplant saying think on the positive. And the gentleman here, I'm sorry for your loss, God bless you. You hear his suffering? Have you ever been to a dump, or have you ever been to the Albany dump? When you're standing in the middle of the dump, it's just so much, and it's just so stench. It's such a stench. But the further you start walking away from the dump, you begin to get the hint of fresh air. And you begin to feel the fresh air, the positive. Check this out. You hear everything we just brought? That's the dump. You told us about the fresh air? Guess what? Smell the fresh air on this brother here that got connection to the gangs that can bring me a sit-down meeting with everybody.
Smell the fresh air on this brother right here who got job opportunities to provide for those kids that we are willing to help. Smell the fresh air of this young lady here who's talking about helping writing grants to help fund these communities. Smell the fresh air right here who brought the idea about the grants. Smell the fresh air right here. This brother's talking about family. Can you begin to smell the fresh air? I mean, a lot of us are in the stitch because we've been here and they've been piling it on us year after year. The gunshots here, crime here, and it's just overwhelming. And we're like up under the dump pile. We know we can dig ourselves out. And that's what this letter, that's what this organization is doing. We're attempting to dig ourselves out so we can smell that fresh air. And we know it's a positive light out there. We know because everybody in here, guess what? Excuse my French lady, gives a damn. And through that, we're gonna smell fresh air together. And we're starting with action. This letter is action. Thank y'all for coming. I really appreciate it.